Today, we're looking at some of the creepiest mysteries in Mario Kart World. For example, this seemingly normal parking garage that's haunted by a ghostly driver. On the outside, everything looks normal. It's a place to park your car and even has a shop on the bottom floor. And every once in a while, you'll see someone park their car and get out and walk around. But during night, something bone-chilling happens. Everything gets really quiet, and there's nobody driving around anymore. But if you drive to another floor, you might find an NPC sitting in their car doing something odd. Nothing. They literally sit there forever. The way this happens feels like they almost don't want to be there, staring blankly into a wall in the middle of an empty parking garage. What makes this all the more creepy and weird is a nearby environmental detail. If you move a few floors up, you'll find this, a broken part of the parking garage with traffic cones next to it. It's almost as if someone wasn't paying attention and accidentally drove off the side. Now, this might be speculation, but what if this is the victim of the accident who met an untimely demise? One night he drove through the barrier, and now he spends the rest of eternity driving endlessly through the parking garage, only visible during night as a reminder to why we should all drive safely. That was just one of the mysteries we're looking at today, but the longer the video goes on, the scarier and scarier they get. The next mystery takes us all the way to the top left corner of the map, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. This isn't a lush oasis. Fire and withered trees are plentiful. Inside this wasteland is Dry Bones Burnout. The course itself is a massive graveyard. Giant bones tower over pools of lava, headstones warning you not to disturb their eternal slumber. In the centerpiece of this track is a giant Koopa skull with two lanterns that resemble eyeballs. This makes you realize that all of the bones that you're seeing are actually a part of the same creature. The mystery of this creature remained unsolved until a particular discovery was made. You see, these smaller tombstones aren't the only graves that are in this course. There's actually one big one that reveals information about the giant skeleton. It shows the year it was born and the year that it passed on. The intricacy of the grave makes me feel like it was a very beloved member of its community, but a user on Reddit pointed out that the date is 1988, which was the year that Super Mario Bros. 3 came out in Japan. And it just so happens that Dry Bones made its first appearance in that game as well. The difference in the dates implies that this guy lived for 300 years. I imagine at one point this was a thriving Koopa village. Perhaps there wasn't lava here in the past, but a volcanic eruption engulfed the entire place in flames. Or maybe Bowser showed up causing destruction in his path, and this is just one of the casualties of his arrival. This could make sense considering Bowser does love having a lot of undead troops in his army, and maybe this one just fully died and didn't actually come back. Either way, I would love to see what this guy looks like alive, and I would also want to get answers about what actually happened. Speaking of the undead, let's talk about Princess Peach's ties to Boo's cinema and how it goes many layers deep. The dark northern forest is truly a terrifying place to be. Immediately upon entering, you're greeted with a stone pillar advertising the Boo Cinema. As you progress down the road, it only gets worse, like abandoned cars, rusty and barely functional, and an overwhelming ghostly presence. Just across the rotten wooden dock sits Boo Cinema. Our focus isn't on this building though, it's what the building is advertising. Being a cinema, it obviously shows films, ones like A Vampire and Shy Guy Bazaar. The one that's showing though is called Boo Castle. Driving through the theater, you'll actually enter the film, which you get to see Princess Peach in her vacation outfit looking very scared. But here's where it gets really weird. This isn't the only Boo Cinema in the game. In fact, I don't think this is a Boo Cinema at all, because in Crown City there's another Boo Cinema open 24/7, 365 days a year. The current movie they're showing, Peach Deep Forest Explorer, gave me a lot of questions. It shows Princess Peach in her vacation outfit looking up at a mansion-type building in a forest. This is the exact same building as Boo's Cinema, and on a closer look, the building looks more like a haunted house than a movie theater. But why would they need to make a movie out of a place that already exists in the world? Unless it doesn't. You see, we already know that the Deep Forest is incredibly haunted, and Boo's Cinema is no different. We know that for a fact because you jump through the screen into the movie and it is full of booze. So what really is going on here? I think I have an answer. I think the real Boo's Cinema is the one in Crown City, and they're showing an actual movie. The one in the Deep Forest is a cleverly disguised ghost house inspired by the movie they're showing in the Crown City one. This would make sense why Peach is also wearing the same outfit in the Boo's Castle movie. I think the Boo's plan is that they want you to watch the Deep Forest Explorer movie and get curious and actually explore it yourself. If you do, you'll find Boo's Cinema, and if you go to watch a movie, you'll fall directly into their trap, likely losing your life. These last few mysteries have been creepy, but none of them compare to the cow's zombification. Yes, cows. Every once in a while, you'll see them get abducted by a UFO. But what really happens to them when they're up there? I don't think we'll ever truly know, but a viewer has spotted something that might show what they look like after they're put back down. They commented about how they observed cows in Moo Moo Meadows walking endlessly in circles. So naturally, I traveled over there to try and bust this myth. I eventually arrived to an open field with some cows in it, and everything looked normal until I followed where the cows were actually walking. This gave me an uneasy feeling because surely enough they were walking in circles. I determined that these cows were abducted by aliens, and that's why they have this weird behavior. I wanted to figure out how I could confirm this, so I decided that if I sit there and they never get abducted, that means they probably already were. I sat there for so long and waited, and even at one point a UFO drove by, but they never picked up these cows. Whatever happens up there when they get abducted turns them into a shell of their former selves, leaving them to just mindlessly walk in circles for the rest of their lives. To add to this theory, there's the famous UFO abduction site that you can find in the forest. You drive through a bunch of caution fences and eventually find a UFO. Not only that, but two cows standing there mindlessly as if they're zombies. What does this mean, and how does it relate to the playable cow, which is known to have a much higher intelligence than the ones we see out in the field? We just might not ever know.